Glenn Scott with you as we are wrapping up another week. This is week number 48 in our Insight to the End Times. My tabletop here is full of materials, so please excuse me looking side to side to grab some material to share with you this morning. Listen, the Insights to the End Times.com website has all of our previous our podcasts that we have shared with you over the last 48 weeks. And we started out back in March of 2022 to share some of the Bible verses that talk about these end days. And then we expanded that to look at some of the events in our world that are occurring that would talk to us about these end days. And you realize in this short period of time, we have seen so many things happen that it's just absolutely unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Just in recent days, we have seen two massive earthquakes back to back. A 7.8 and a 7.5 Richter scale earthquakes hit southern Turkey and neighboring Syria with such devastation. It has destroyed multitudes of buildings. Somewhere in the vicinity over 4,000 buildings have absolutely been demolished. And as of Monday last week, as of the 13th of February, that's a week ago, at least a week ago, there were 37,000 that had perished in that, and they expected that number to keep climbing. These events like this are prophesied in Matthew 24, in Luke chapter 21. These are end-time events. These are things Jesus spoke about. He said they would occur. He said we'd have wars and rumors of wars. We got wars going on all over the world. Today, we got nations coming against nations. We got people betraying one another. We have people shooting one another. It's just evil, violence, and wickedness is taking over our earth. We're studying this week, where are we in God's timetable? And Jesus, we just finished. We could go on and on with it, obviously, but we just took a cursory look at what was happening in the days of Noah on the earth before the floodwaters came. And in that situation, we found things like evil thoughts continually, violence, corruption, and wickedness. And only one family was considered righteous. That was Noah's family, 8 of them. Only 8 people survived the flood. Unbelievable. I can hardly grasp that. Then we got over to Lot over in Sodom. And you know, those cities, Sodom and Gomorrah, extremely evil. Abraham negotiated with God to spare 10 righteous people. As it turns out, Lot and his 2 virgin daughters were the only ones to escape. 3 out of his family of 8. So the number dropped from 8 in Noah's day, 8 out of 8, down to 3 out of 8. That's a decline. Bad news. And God destroyed everything with fire and brimstone from heaven, wiped everything out because the evil was so intense. Folks, we're living in a Sodom and Gomorrah world today. In fact, I think we far have exceeded the state of affairs in Sodom and Gomorrah. People in those days paid no attention to God. They paid no attention to his ways, his principles, any of that. They just ignored it. They were oblivious to it. They were just carrying on life as if nothing made any difference. Do you know it took 100 years for Noah to build that ark? It was massive. There's a replica of the ark in the States, down in, if I'm not mistaken, just south of Cincinnati, Ohio, in Kentucky. And it is so large. It is so huge. It's massive. It's massive. It's like the size of a football field. It's just absolutely massive. And these people watched this man build this ark for 100 years, probably over 100 years. And it didn't move them to make a change in their life. That's hard to believe. It's just hard to believe. But today people are so self-centered and so self-absorbed that if there's a bridge out over a raging waterway and the bridge has been wiped out and they're driving along and we put up roadblocks and barriers and say road out, closed, etc., they'll still go around those signs and keep driving. They're indifferent to being advised or warned. Where's their focus? It's on the wrong areas. We're seeing signs of corruption and evil thoughts and violence and wickedness in our society everywhere we turn. It's in every aspect of life, from the smallest to the highest. And I don't want to get into all those issues today because it's just so bad. It's so disturbing. It's so disturbing. Hallelujah. Now, you know, Jesus said, I'm going to build my church and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. That gives us great comfort. But in our society today, the numbers tell us that we're going in the wrong direction. Our church attendance numbers are falling precipitously. There was a time when well over half of the population in the United States, for instance, well over half of the population were regular Sunday morning church attenders. Now those numbers are down in the high teens or the low 20%. And that's only based on attending church once a month. It is just unbelievable how things have gone downhill, contrary to the scriptures. It's just unbelievable. Let me give you a couple of quick stats here before we close today. 30% of Christian believers today now believe in reincarnation. Really? Give me a break. 33% of senior pastors today across the United States, in a recent survey, they now believe that sexual relationships outside of marriage between two unmarried people is morally acceptable. That's contrary to the scriptures, black and white. There shouldn't even be any consideration of that. It's just like, wow, do you really? Come on. And here's the last statistic I'll share with you right now. It says 39% of evangelical pastors, that would mean in most cases born again pastors, said there's no absolute moral truth. Each person determines their own moral truth. That's one of the great reasons we got problems today, is that the standard, the standard that we have to look at has been removed from us. Folks, we're in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. We're in the days of Noah before the flood. We're in the days of all that evil and violence and everything else. So it's time for you to get right with God and make sure you're really right with God. I'll see you tomorrow to finish up this week. Thanks for joining us. Bye.